Zero to One is a book by Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, first outside investor in Facebook. This isn't a book about business tactics. It's about one question. How do you build a company that changes the world? Let's break it down in 3 parts. Here's the core idea. Thiel built this entire book on most companies just copy what already exists. They go from 1 to N, adding one more restaurant, one more app, one more option to a market that already has plenty. But real innovation means creating something the world has never seen before. That's going from 0 to 1. Not improving what exists, inventing what doesn't. And according to Thiel, that's the only move that truly matters. So how do you find your 0 to 1 opportunity? Thiel has a specific question he asks every founder. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? Take Uber. In 2009, getting into a stranger's car felt absurd. Travis Kalanick believed strangers would do it. Most people thought he was crazy. Netflix bet that people would rather binge watch at home than go to a video store. Blockbuster laughed. Until it didn't. And Apple believed we didn't need a physical keyboard at all. Analysts said the iPhone would fail. It became the most valuable product in history. The pattern is the same every time. A contrarian belief, held confidently, while everyone else disagreed. That disagreement is what buys you time to build a lead no one can close. Now here's something that sounds wrong at first. Thiel says capitalism and competition are opposites. In a competitive market, prices get crushed, margins disappear, and everyone fights for scraps. Nobody wins, but a monopoly. A monopoly generates so much profit it can fund the future. Google's search monopoly is what paid for self-driving cars, Google Maps, and free internet access for millions of people. None of that exists without the monopoly profit behind it. Thiel's blunt conclusion, if you're aiming for anything less than a monopoly, you're essentially aiming to go out of business. Competition is for losers. Okay, so you want to build a monopoly. Where do you start? Jeff Bezos had a dream. The everything store. A place where you could buy literally anything. But he didn't start there. He started with just books. Why? Easy to ship, educated buyers, and a market he could completely dominate. Once he owned books, he expanded to CDs, then DVDs, then electronics, one adjacent market at a time, until he had everything. The key rule, your product must be 10 times better than the alternative, not 10%, 10 times. That's the threshold to actually change someone's behavior. And here's the counterintuitive part. Don't try to get 1% of a billion-dollar market, get 80% of a million-dollar one. Own your niche completely, then expand. Once you've built your monopoly, you need to protect it. Thiel identifies 4 weapons every durable monopoly uses. First, brand. Apple doesn't just sell phones, it sells an identity. You can copy the hardware. You can't manufacture that relationship. That's a moat money can't buy. Second, proprietary technology. Google's search algorithms are so far ahead of any competitor that copying them is essentially impossible. Your tech must be at least 10 times better than it becomes its own wall. Third, network effects. Every person who joins Instagram makes Instagram more valuable for everyone else. The product gets better as it gets bigger, and that makes it almost impossible to displace. Fourth, economies of scale. Amazon ships so many packages that its cost per item is nearly zero. No startup can match that margin. The bigger they get, the cheaper it gets, and the gap widens. Stack 2 or 3 of these weapons together, and your monopoly becomes essentially unbreakable. So we come back to the question Thiel asks every founder. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? Your answer to that question, if it's real, if it's specific, if most people think you're wrong, that's your 0 to 1 moment. Find the truth no one else sees. Start small. Own it completely, build your moat. Then scale to the world. Thiel's final message is this. Even a bad plan beats no plan at all. But a bold, contrarian plan, executed with conviction, that's how you build the future.